Listen to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I am your host, Mike Luke. Now, you might say to yourself, Mike, you're 206. We blame Jacob Franklin for this, not me. This is true, Jason Scheer.
Yeah, I'm laughing at there's a comment at 10:30.
Yeah, there's not one at 10:30. Okay, we've got a lot to get to this show. We're going to make fun of Colorado. I see the comments in there. Very, very good. We're going to talk about camp. We're going to talk about Koa Peat. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We'll be out at practice today, signing autographs, doing all kinds of things. If it's 7:15, make it out there if you want. You can hang out with us. Very, very cool people. All right, but first, Scheer, Arizona has a new president. Here's where I'm at with the presidents. I got to break it into two different folds. With Bobby Robbins, yes, Bobby Robbins deserved to be fired. I don't think that they're or let go. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But for us, Bobby Robbins was great because Bobby Robbins likes sports. We've seen a lot of presidents over the years that do not like sports, and that is very annoying. Scheer, what are your initial impressions of the U of A's new president and name pronunciation as well, please?
Mr. President would be the name pronunciation. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert on him. You know, there's some initial concerns that I have. We have no idea how he handles sports. There's just not enough record of it at Vermont. Vermont doesn't have a football team. If you want to look in the positives, he worked at Purdue. Obviously, athletics are important at Purdue. I just don't know a lot. I think I'm more upset with the process than I am the hire based on what I know, at least.
Well, that was the most Arizona process ever. Listen, I don't understand why we do things where this was like what Michael Crow did for an athletic director. You only interview one person. I do not understand this with a president. This is a good job. Why are you only looking at one person? Why are you narrowing your choices when you're just looking at one person? I do not understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. And they're I think they're starting a press conference right now about it, but they'll say that he was the best candidate and they didn't feel the need to interview anyone else. And it's really hard to get away with that in most jobs. Most jobs, you have to interview multiple candidates. And even when you have a slam dunk candidate, you just kind of speed up the process and then hire the slam dunk candidate. For them to interview one guy, and like my mom made a good point today when she texted me, she's like, so you mean to tell me they interviewed him today, and then literally when the interview ended, there was no discussion and they said, we're going to offer you a contract.
Like, that's what happened.
Yeah. And so it's like, you knew what you were doing. You knew that you were going to offer him a contract, and one guy, that's it. One guy, and he's the man.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to find out a lot more about it. Caramello will be doing some interviews here, I guess, coming up, or a press conference. But Mr. Tyler Warden makes.
You just call him Caramello?
Caramello. That's his last name.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's his last name. All right. But Mr. Tyler Warden makes.
Caramella. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Suresh Caramella.
Yeah. Mr. Tyler Warden makes a very, very good point. Vermont's athletic program brought in $20 million in revenue last year. He has no experience in this domain. That is what worries me.
Well, yes and no, because when he was at Vermont, he got a vote of no confidence because he started to cut humanity programs left and right, where he had to make cuts. So he went after tenured professors, and it's really funny to me that one of the Robbins got a vote of no confidence, and it was such a big deal locally, even though they're meaningless. Let's be honest. Right. And so they went and hired a guy that got a vote of no confidence. It's like
that's kind of where I'm at as well. Now, let's talk about Bobby Robbins here for a second. This is a guy that I think it's too bad that he didn't fail so miserably at certain very important aspects of the job, because for us, he was great. I mean, let's be honest here. We knew that he liked sports. He wanted to be front and center. A lot of people thought they're like, oh, well, he just wants to be seen by the cameras. I do not care what he wants to do. He made our life easy because he wants good sports. That is something that is very underrated in this day and age. So again, I get the Robbins had to be let go, but I have no feeling whatsoever, which makes me very uncomfortable about this new president.
But let me ask you something. Like I talked to someone, you know them, that used to work at this university and still knows quite a few people that's now working elsewhere. And they said that it is impossible not to recognize the value of athletics to Arizona. There's other schools where you can get away with it, but basically, like, the new president has no choice,
right?
But understand that athletics are important to the life of this university. Like, this isn't Vermont. Vermont, you can get away with that. At U of A, if you don't value athletics, you're screwed from the start, especially financially.
All right, Joseph says one of the Morales sisters implied that sports isn't the president's job. They are wrong if they said that. At the University of Arizona, Jason Scheer makes a very good point that it matters here at the U of A. Sports matter. It is a lifeblood of this community, period, point blank.
The only way it's not the president's job is if he gets out of Desiree's way and says, do what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's it. Exactly. That's his job, getting out of the way. You're either like Robbins or you get out of the way, or you're a Michael Crow type that doesn't value sports.
Right.
So if you don't value sports, that's trouble. But if he has the approach of, you know what, I think athletics are important, we're going to give Desiree all we need, her hires are her hires, I'm cool with that. I'm actually fine with that.
All right, now, Mr. Tyler Warden. Again, we rely on Mr. Tyler Warden for many things. Arizona athletics contributed $265 million in economic output. It's absolutely critical. That is the best way of putting it. It is critical here. If Arizona has bad basketball, this city will erupt. Period. Now, with football, we're used to bad football. I get it. But with basketball, Scheer, people will not be happy if we have Kevin O'Neal here or something again.
And sports are important to, like, students. I still remember, like, when I applied to colleges, Mike, I chose between Arizona and Santa Barbara. Mm-hmm. And Santa Barbara is a better school than Arizona, right?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Right, but no sports.
Right.
And I wanted to leave the state, but no sports. I said I want to go to a college football game.
Hey, right? You want to know something crazy about me? Something really cool about my college process? Guess what? I had a scholarship. I had a scholarship to USC.
Well, I don't know why you didn't go there.
Well, no, I had a scholarship to USC. Academic. I got all my academics paid for at the U of A, but I had a scholarship offer to USC as well.
I did a El Taco funded scholarship.
Oh, yes, exactly. I didn't want to get on Figueroa and MLK or whatever. No thanks. No thanks.
You living in the area of USC, though, would have been so good.
No. It would not have been good. I would not have been good.
You'd have been walking by guys with Tupac lyrics and
dude, yeah, nip hustle, baby. All right. So either way, that's where I'm at with this. I don't feel great about it, mainly because with Robbins, I knew where we stood, and I think we were pretty lucky in that regard. Listen, if you get a president that doesn't care about sports, it can be something that you have it like at ASU, where you just have, down in the dumpster programs at that point when it comes to basketball and football. Sure. But one thing that I do like, at least, is that Tommy Lloyd, the Tommy Gun, does have a long-term deal in place. He's getting paid well. And listen, if you're a president here and you try to undermine Arizona football or Arizona basketball, you're probably not going to be long for the job either, though, Scheer. I will say this.
Yeah, and it's because, like you mentioned, like, I think you can get away at like an ASU or a other university not caring about sports. It is very obvious what makes U of A tick in Tucson, Arizona, right?
Right.
We're not going around sitting at Bob Dobbs talking about the humanities programs or, and I'm not saying that, there's value in education and all that. But if this guy comes in and doesn't care about sports and Arizona loses coaches or facility funding because of it,
yes,
look, all I know is we watched practice yesterday and Cole Davis was there watching practice too.
Yep, exactly. No, he was, but he was there.
That's one of my first calls. Like, that relationship better be good. Because Cole Davis didn't like, I don't know if we need to get into this. I don't think him and Robbins had the best relationship.
Correct. Now, Robbie Don, the great Robbie Don says, Mike, if Arizona just hired ourselves a new Michael Crow, are you going to regret rooting for Robbins to go? I know he threw your boy under the bus, but this could be terrible. Well, yeah. But here at the end of the day, I also have to understand something too, is that Robbins kind of ran this university in any other.
You rooted, and to defend you, I don't know why I am. I don't think you rooted for him to go. I think we just understood that he needed to go.
Yeah, we understood he needed to go because you can't run a business like this. You couldn't run anything. If Robbins had run any other thing like that financially, he would have been booted from anything. Listen, I think it's a pretty rough precedent, but again, he made my job easy. So I'm going to give him some kudos on that one. We will obviously keep you up to date on this, on everything that does transpire, because I'm sure you guys care about what we think as much as we care about what you guys think. Now, let's get to a little bit of Arizona football, my friends. Camp. All right. Now, just so everybody knows, I will be out at practice tonight. Jason Scheer will be out of practice. I might even be bringing my lady friend to practice as well tonight. So all kinds of good stuff.
Are you going to be sitting with the media, or are you going with the regular people?
I don't know. I might sit with the regular people. I don't know.
You're a man of the people.
Yeah, I am a man of the people. Okay, but I'm just going to ask you this point blank. What do we know about Arizona football a month or a week and a half into camp? I'm going to go first, even though I just asked you the question. This team is damn good, period.
You know, yesterday, Shelby brought up a good point, very rare good point by Shelby. And she goes, you've watched football and you've come home and you said they suck. And you've come home last year and you go, hey, like, don't tell people, but we're actually pretty good.
Right.
What do you think this year? I think they're good. When it looks good, and there's growing pains with the offense. So I will say, like, if you go to practice tonight, there's a good chance, or a chance the offense is going to suck. And the reason is because they're installing a bunch of stuff. And when the offense clicks, like we saw the other day, Mike, towards the end of practice, I mean, it's freakish, right? Like, it's really, really good. I watch this team and I go, yeah, there's some concerns. They're very obvious concerns. But man, the potential's there. Like, this isn't a bad football team.
And here's the thing is this is maybe this team's upside might even be a little bit higher than I thought it was going into camp. This team has, if things click, and again, you could say that about, anything. I get all of that. If things if things click, this team could be a real problem for about anybody, especially on the offensive side of the football, Jason Scheer.
Yeah, I mean, the offense, like, it's a crazy issue that, like, we talk and we're like, man, how are they going to play all these tight ends?
Right.
Because they're good. Or, man, they got 4 running backs that could get carries. How are they going to divide these carries? Or, like, they have, like, that's a good problem to have. And again, like you mentioned, like, I'm concerned about the offensive line. That probably won't change until I see it. The rest of the offense is great. And I know the offensive line is important, but the pieces are there.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, Ryan Neal says, is Burnett the leader at tight end? Here's what I'm going to say about this. And then, Scheer, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm not. He's clearly, and there's a lot of really good tight ends. He's clearly the most talented tight end. If you were to look at anybody on that roster and say they're going to be in the NFL in a year or two, it would be Kean Burnett. How about that?
Yeah, I think Miranda's probably the starting tight end. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get more reps. If you were to ask me who gets the most reps at tight end, it's Burnett. Burnett's like, Miranda's very good at blocking. He's the best blocking tight end. That's not changing. He is a reliable pass catcher. Burnett is reliable and explosive. Burnett makes catches that no one else on the roster at tight end can make, and he's practiced really, really well the last few weeks.
Right. Now, our guy Jake Fagus says they have the highest upside of any team in the Big 12. I agree with that. I believe that if Arizona clicks and things work out, I believe they do have the highest upside. What say you, Scheer? Do you want to back the A on that remark?
Pure upside, right?
Yeah, pure upside. Pure upside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, yeah, we agree. Now, Kevin,
everything goes right. Yes.
Now, Kevin WN, the great Kevin WN, says, when I was in school, our president in Wisconsin hated sports, but Barry Alvarez did not care and steamrolled her. You want to know why? Guess who is from Lexington, Nebraska? Guess who played football at the University of Nebraska? Barry Alvarez, my friend. He would not.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, you did, Mel. There you go, man. Seriously.
My sister went to Wisconsin for grad school, so I'm a big Badger guy. You also got to keep in mind that Alvarez was God in Wisconsin, so he had the power to steamroll anything a school president did.
Yes, as he should have, because he was really, really good at what he did.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like maybe Desiree will try, but Barry Alvarez, like, that's just a different animal.
Don't worry, we're going to get to Jeff Sims again here in a little bit at the end of the. We should just have a segment sponsored about Jeff Sims. It'd be great. Okay, now Arshram Mazani, great name. I like that name a lot. Yes, I know he played at Nebraska, guys. Yes. Now, why can't Hyatt be a big contributor? Feel like he doesn't get enough love? He's going to be. He's one of those 6 wide receivers, Scheer. He's looked good in camp. You definitely notice him. He's going to get a real shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's the room's loaded, right? Like, it's a good problem to have. But again, like, it's who's going to play. Someone is going to be left out at a bunch of positions, and people are going to wonder why, on offense at least. And it's just the way it goes.
Now, all right, now let's see here. Brian Blackmore says Alvarez is an in and out guy, though, not a Del Taco guy. That does strike. Yeah, I think it's.
Do they have Del Tacos in Madison?
I have no clue. If they don't, though, then I don't know what we're doing here.
I would be shocked if they had Del Tacos in Wisconsin.
They have Circle K's in Wisconsin, though.
I'm looking right now, Mike.
Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, I got a comment.
They're not.
Yes. So you're going to like this. So I went in, guys. I went to my favorite, and I won't get too far off topic here. I went to my favorite Circle K, the one on Oracle and Grant, not the one on 6th Street or right by my house. But I went to the one there, and I was wearing the Inner Circle hat. And the lady asked me, she says, "Are you a?" She said, "Are you a Circle K employee?" And I said, "No, but I'm part of the Inner Circle." And then. But then I asked her, I said, "Are you part of the Inner Circle?" And she says, "Actually, I'm not, but don't tell anybody." Also, so, oh gosh, that looks good. Yes. Man, we look good. We're so cool. Okay. Now, we need to talk about something on the offensive line here. Our guy, Leif Magnuson, best, obviously wish nothing but the best for Leif. He's been out for a while. Alexander Deuce, the Deuce Boost, has been in there at guard. And I think a lot of people were like, is he going to be able to be a tackle? Because that's what Jed wanted him as a tackle, but not a tackle. But he's looked pretty good at guard, though. There, Scheer. This is true.
Yeah. So right now, just to clarify what you're saying, is Deuce is the backup guard to Wendell Moy.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the right guard, if the season started tomorrow, and there's plenty of time, they could put Deuce back at the other guard position easily. Right now, it's a battle between Stewart and Shenko. I think Stewart is probably the starting guard right now. You look. I mean, let's just be blunt. I'm not going into details, and neither are you for a bunch of reasons. But the team is so much better when Leif is on the field, and hopefully he gets there, because I think that he is no disrespect to Stewart, because I don't think Stewart's awful, but he is clearly the best option there at guard.
Yes, by a mile. And so let me ask you this, though, with the Deuce Boost. I think the Deuce has a higher upside. How about that at guard than Stewart? Would you agree, or would you say, Mike Luke, you're an idiot?
No, I like Deuce better than Stewart, for sure. Yeah. And Stewart worries me because, and again, I don't think he's awful, but he has a history of injury.
Yes.
A long history of injury. And so I'm going to be blunt with Shenko, great kid and all that. He's been taking reps at center because Baker's been out, and he's not a center. And I'm not a big fan of it because it feels like he's taking reps away from a position he's more likely to play.
Here's what I'm going to say.
It's a little weird.
Here's what I'm going to say about here's what I'm going to say about Kevin WN. Mike, you need the Circle K brimless hat. It is incredible. Oh my gosh, yes, I've seen that one. But here's where I'm at with and I was talking with somebody that might know. I don't believe that Shenko is good, and I do not feel comfortable. I feel fine with Shenko as a backup. I do not feel comfortable. I do not want Shenko as a starter. I don't feel great about that, Scheer. Period.
I don't either. But again, like, the issue is, like, he's not a center. He struggled with snaps considerably. Let's put him at guard. The O-line's just banged up, right? Like, if Josh Baker's not practicing, you have to have a backup guard. Stovall and Shenko are competing for that. I think Stovall would probably be the backup guard right now. I think if the season started, Baker would be fine. Wendell Moy would be fine. Leif would not. And so in an ideal world, I like Stewart, a healthy Stewart at that guard. I'm really tempted to move Deuce over there.
Yeah. Now, let's see here. There was a question. Oh, Ryan Neal says, "Are you concerned? Are you concerned enough at O-line to think it could derail the season?" That is my only concern on offense. The only concern. I think the receivers are great. The running backs, everybody's great. That is my only concern, is the offensive line, Scheer.
And let's clarify, the starting offensive line we are fine with.
Yes.
It is, should Wendell Moy, Rhino, Josh Baker, Jonah get hurt, it is a major drop off from 1 to 2.
Yes, that's a problem. So we need to keep these young men healthy. That is 1,000% a thing. But I do think it's going to help that, again, I don't think it's necessarily a base formation, but there's going to be, like we talked about all season or all off season, there's going to be a lot of 2 tight end sets. So that is going to be able to help this team out, I think, a great deal. And it's not just 2 plotters at tight end, because anytime Kean's on the field, Kean is a stretch the field type guy that can do different things. You're going to have blockers in there as well. So that will at least help a little bit there, Scheer.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that yesterday. And this coaching staff is smart. If the O-line's struggling, they're going to go to 2 tight end sets. They did a lot of it, and they got creative. It wasn't just 2 tight ends blocking stuff. I am actually, we'll see about games. Maybe you disagree. I don't know, Mike. I am very surprised with what we've seen from the Dino Babers offense. It is much more creative and multiple than I thought it would be.
Here's where I'm at with Dino Babers. I have no question, and this is where Jason Scheer, not being a Tucsonan like yours truly, does not know as me. This guy presided over the best offense in school history, and he was throwing the ball a lot more than people were back in 1998. I know you could say, Mike, 1998, whatever. I get all of that. But he was throwing the ball a lot. It was the best offense in school history. My only question with Dino Babers was he collecting a paycheck or not? Because if you looked at those Syracuse games, those were some tough teams to watch those last couple of years.
And I get the vibe he's not. He seems really engaged. Again, like, we'll see how it works in the games, but he seems really engaged. He's putting in the work. The offense is creative. It's multiple. Like, shout out to some parents. It's not just RPO heavy.
Yes.
There was a little RPO. Got to be honest. There's a couple RPO plays in it, but I haven't seen the RPO plays with Noah, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, I don't want that, but yes, exactly. Shout out to Robert Polito, who was very concerned about this being an RPO offense. It is not. Now let's see here. Brad Rich. Oh, a man of 2 first names. I do not like. He was asked, that was Arsham. He says, is Jack Luttrell going to play the transfer from Tennessee? I just don't see it because there's just way too many safeties, and they're all good. That's a numbers game for me.
So he actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Who cares? He was actually in the rotation. He had a play the other day where he was covering someone and he ran into the goalpost padding.
Right. Yeah, I was there.
Full speed. I mean, full speed. And he's out. He's out of practice. I don't know. I don't think it's serious. He doesn't have a brace or anything, but he's not practicing right now.
Now, Leviticus Sua, I'll be blunt here. Jason Scheer has used the term blunt like 4 different times already. I'll be blunt here. Leviticus Sua, yes, hopefully he can contribute in some way, but yes, he was definitely overrated. That's not a 4-star linebacker. I think the problem with Leviticus Sua is, and I've had a couple different people tell me this, there's nothing quick twitch about him. There's nothing. You watch Jacob Manu plugs that hole, like Ben One White made that point a bunch of times. When Jacob Manu plugs that hole, he gets in there and he is in there immediately. Whereas with Leviticus Sua, it's very much of a plodding type thing where it's, one step to the next. Just not quite that dude.
It's not natural. Like, even when you watch Kamu and Tay Brown and Manu, they're not thinking a lot. It's just very instinctual.
Right.
Leviticus Sua feels mechanical in a lot of what he does. Like, okay, now I need to turn and get there. He's just far off. I do not see him playing very much anytime soon.
Sometimes there's just missy valves, man. I mean, I blame, whenever there's a missy valve on 24/7, I blame Scheer for one of 2 reasons: for not stepping up and putting the point out there, or the other reason for basically saying that or allowing this to happen. It was just a missy valve. That's just the way it is.
My bad.
Now, can I tell you, one thing that is not a missy valve, though, Jason Scheer? The Gila River Resorts and Casinos, my friends. We like the little wave, the wave. You like this? True. This is true.
I love it.
No, and the cool thing about the Gila River Resorts and Casinos, you can see it from I-10. It's like with Jacob Franklin. If Jacob Franklin was out in like Maricopa, you can see him from I-10. You can also see the Gila River Resorts and Casinos from I-10, but you might say to yourself, I don't want to be around Jacob Franklin. I don't blame you for not wanting to be around Jacob Franklin. But at the same time, you do want to be around the Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. Here's the thing that is very cool. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, no one does it better. They offer an authentic and immersive experience experience. Head to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what next level fun is all about. Scheer, Gila River Resorts and Casinos, we very much like the wave. We do, but this is true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, I actually went in there one time to deliver, I can't remember, I think it was an extension cord to Saul Bookman, and I was amazed by the place. It was very, very cool. Check it out, Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Also, Circle K. Listen, you're looking at Scheer's hat, you're looking at my hat. I told you I was getting gas at my favorite Circle K on Grant and Oracle. There's two different ones that are my favorite one. There's the one on 6th Street, and then there's the one on Grant and Oracle. I went in there, and like I said, I had the hat, and the woman asked me, she said, "Do you work at Circle K?" And I said, "Nope, but I am part of the inner circle." And she admitted to me she was not, and she asked me where I got the hat. And guess what I said? a great magician never reveals his secrets. That's where I am at with the Circle K. But Scheer, that hat is really, you got the trucker hat. I like that one.
Yeah, I like this one. We got to get you in the Circle K and Gladden Farms. Shelby shouted you out from there this morning. We got to get you there.
Yeah, I really want to check that one. You know, I have to go up to Phoenix a couple times next week. I might check out that Circle K. But either way, check it out. Circle K, all kinds of really good stuff. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Okay, now. Brad Rich says, "Jason, can you teach Mike how to wear those hats? What's wrong with it? What am I doing?"
You wear hats in a unique way, Mike. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. Your hair's always out of the hat in the front.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
That's not technically speaking in hat fashion. The hair goes into the hat.
I'm supposed to tuck the hair into the hat?
Yeah, so like take your hat off and brush your hair back, and then you put the hat on.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to listen. I was blessed with hair. I'm going to utilize that hair. I do not care what anybody has to say. Okay, now let's get back to the defense here for a second. What are your thoughts on the defensive side of the ball? A week and a half. I keep wanting to say a month and a half. A week and a half through camp. Jason Scheer.
Solid. You know, same concern on the offense a little bit with the depth on the line. I like the corners. I think they're fine. The safeties are freaking awesome, like best of the country type awesome.
Right.
Like when linebacker, the other linebacker spot next to Manu. I kind of want to see it in games, but I think the defense will be good.
Yes. Now at the linebacker, I've been pleasantly surprised. Again, I think there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to see a genesis, and we've talked about this a million times. I think you're going to see a lot of safeties that are going to be able to be in there in that dollar package. But I will say that between Tay Brown, between Kamula, you got some dudes there, and they don't look out of place. We've seen bad linebackers, you know, when they look stiff and out of place. They look like they look the part. How about that, Jason Scheer?
Yeah, absolutely. They look the part. And again, like I Kamu had one of the best days from a defensive player of all camp. Like
right.
When you see that one day, you're like, oh crap.
Right.
Tay Brown looks to be improved. And here's the thing, and I say this often, Danny Gonzalez is awesome.
Yes, he is.
If he's coaching you, you're gonna get better. And I have full confidence in the guys he's coaching.
All right, now Trey Smith, I was thinking about this other day when I was putting in, when I was talking about possible NFL players. Trey Smith's a player that I think is going to play in the NFL, barring injury. He's very good. I think that he's going to be somewhere in that 6 to 7 sack range. I think his numbers are actually going to be fairly similar to what they were at San Jose State, to believe it or not. What say you, Scheer?
I think he's going to have similar numbers to Upshaw. I think he could push for 8 sacks.
All right, pushes for 8 sacks, and we're in really good.
He's been awesome in practice, really good. And we talked to him yesterday. Yes, yesterday with the media, and great kid, like really good kid, right approach. I think he's going to be really good.
Yes, and then, but here I'm still concerned about, and I know Portland Timbers. Shout out Portland Timbers on your board. Is not concerned about the backup. The edges. Listen, I know there's ways to be able to manufacture a pass rush. I am still concerned about that, though, because I still like last year's team. It was really nice to be able to have a Russell Davis that could come in and could really, now granted, it was generally against LA schools, but we'll take it either way, to be able to have somebody that could come in and could be somebody that could get around the quarterback. I just don't see it, Scheer. I don't see it with the other players.
No, we're talking backups because I think Ty could put.
Oh, I love Ty. He's starting though.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like that's the biggest issue I have is I think Lance Kennelly is solid. I don't think he's a stud pass rusher. I think he's a good lineman. Don't get me wrong. Chase Kennedy to me is too skinny. I think they have to get unique unless their plan is to just have him blow by guys. The one guy I think is surprising is Stanley Tafu. I like him quite a bit, but he's inside. So
I was surprised at how thin Chase Kennedy is.
He's as skinny as Russell Davis.
He is skinny. Now again, I don't know that he has that burst that Davis had. He's skinny, man. I mean, he's like, we're talking like 215 pounds. I did not really, I guess I thought he'd be a little bit bigger than that.
He looks like a linebacker.
He does look.
He looks like a linebacker, and he's very fast. I'll give him that, but he hasn't done anything in camp so far.
You think the coaches inadvertently for a week put him with the linebackers? That was funny. That was funny.
That was good. That was good. I do wonder who the backup ends are. I don't know who they're going to be.
Okay, Chuba is going to be a beast. Now we have put this at. We have decided that Chuba will be the culture warrior that was Big Bill Norton, right? He's taken over that position, that mantle.
Chuba's the best. The best.
I firmly believe though that he is the biggest player I think that I've ever seen at the U of A.
You know what's funny about him, Mike, is I think he's lost like 30 pounds since the spring.
Well, because I remember when I saw him on there, because here's the thing, when he was on campus before, he was massive, but his gut doesn't look nearly as big as it did before. How about that?
I think he's lost like 30 pounds. He's down to 340.
Right. Yeah. It's a svelte. One guy asked me on Twitter, he says, does he, he's like, Jonah's like 335. Does he carry his weight like Jonah? Nobody carries that weight like Jonah.
I've never seen a player like Jonah. We said that from the second that we saw him. I've never seen a player Jonah's size. The only one that I think I've seen carry that size that well, I don't know how big he is. How big is Tyron Smith?
Oh, at USC, like 6'6", 320.
So he carried it. I mean, he was a freak. That would be the comparison in terms of guys that carry it like that.
That's kind of where I'm at as well. So that is basically what we're looking at then from a again though. I'm going to say it 9 wins now. When it comes to special teams, I have really no concerns. I believe Jeremiah Patterson is going to be a good kick returner. I believe Pham is going to be a good kick returner. I'm also obviously, unlike Scheer, I'm in on Tyler Loop. Shout out Steve Loop. Scheer did not.
Punter's interesting though. I'm a little concerned about punter. Don't know who that's going to be yet.
All right, now talk about it. Now, you're Lackland Bruce. We wanted
this. I assume it's him. We don't really watch punting. They do it over on where the beach volleyball is, so no one really goes over there. But we did get to watch it the other day, and that's a wide open competition. Wide open.
Let's see here. There was a question about Brian Neal. Is that Jordan Whitney kid from Washington still in the portal?
Yes, but Arizona's not recruiting him. Arizona's done. Well, I shouldn't say that. Arizona is likely done. There's been a few offensive linemen they've been in contact with in the portal.
Okay. Now, we are going to get, because there is some movement here, we are going to get to a little bit of Koa Peat and some more football. But first, you're probably thinking to yourself, Mike, I've noticed that Rugged Road has been on here. What can you tell me more about it? Now, when you think of Jason Scheer, you think of a rugged individualist, somebody that lives on the terrain, somebody that basically does everything that he wants to do. And you know what? That's why he and Rugged Road and Circle K are such a perfect marriage. And here's the deal with Rugged Road. Get ready for your summer adventures with Rugged Road coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code PHNX for 10% off your order. Lightweight, durable, and always floating upright, just like the Gila River resorts and casinos. And so leave that old cooler at home and get yourself a better cooler for the new season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion. Scheer, this just reeks of manliness, of testosterone. Rugged Road outdoor coolers.
Look, I'm not gonna insult anyone, but if you want to be more of a man than you are now, get a Rugged Road cooler.
Get on the Rugged Road, my friends, and make this one happen. Again, Rugged Road, and again, use promo code PHNX for 10% off. I always want to say $10 off. 10% off Rugged Road. Now, one other thing, Game Time. Scheer, we know so many people that have used Game Time that it's basically a laundry list at this point of people that have used Game Time. And
I think I use Game Time.
we know more people that have used Game Time than haven't that haven't used Game Time. This is true, Scheer.
I get emails. You can't see that at all, but I get emails from Game Time.
Yes, exactly. Didn't you use a Game Time? Oh, tell the story when you were at the Alamo Bowl.
There was a man who didn't have tickets 24 hours before, and I was like, "Aren't you worried?" He goes, "No, I'm not worried. I've downloaded Game Time. I'm just going to get it right before the game."
Yes. Now, again, that's what they do, though, with Game Time. All kinds of really, really good stuff. Okay. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code. Spell out PHNX for $20 off. Check it out, Game Time. We know many people that have utilized Game Time, and it is very good. It is a scrumptious option if you're looking to get into places at the very end. Okay, now we got a little bit of Jacob Franklin talk we're going to get to here in a little bit, but first we are basketball with this. We do like basketball around here as well. We need to talk about Koa Peat. Koa Peat has released a list. I am going to say, first and foremost, he is from Gilbert Perry. Jason Scheer is notorious for not liking any players from Gilbert Perry, whether that's Cody Williams, whether that's Dylan Anderson. I'm sure he won't like Bruce Branch either, whatever. But it shows you how good Koa Peat is, that Jason Scheer does like Koa Peat. You would have offered Koa Peat. This is true.
Yes, I think Koa Peat is good as basketball.
Yes. Okay. Now, I believe that right now Arizona is in, again, this is all fluid. But I do believe that Arizona is in decent shape for Koa Peat. How about that?
Yeah. I refuse to say that they're the leader, because people will take that and turn it and twist it.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Arizona's doing, how about this? Arizona's doing as well as anyone.
Okay, so yes. Yeah, how about that? All right, and with Koa Peat, I can say this. Arizona does not have the unlimited coffers that some people like in Lexington would, but I believe that if Koa Peat does come to the U of A, he would have the highest NIL of any player to ever play at the U of A, including Caleb Love, who's returning, obviously, and was the Pac-10 player or Pac-12 player of the year. I believe that Koa Peat would break that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Now, with Pete, be an interesting front court then, because you're on record as saying, listen, we both know the same person that says that Tobe Awaka is a monster. This is true.
Yes, thinks he's NBA potential.
Yes, NBA potential, and this guy does not generally throw that out there. He's told us both this. But you believe that Tobe Awaka is purely a center with no capabilities whatsoever to play the power forward?
I think in certain packages you can play him as a power forward. I think he's a center.
Okay. You believe that. So what are we doing then? If Arizona's got Mount Crevis, Koa Peat, and Tobe Awaka in a year, how does that look then for Arizona?
You want me to blow up your podcast?
Yeah.
Arizona's under belief that Crevis will be good enough to enter the NBA after this season.
Okay, and
that's the plan. That is literally the belief they're moving forward with, is that he will be good and he will enter the NBA after this season.
I was not told that.
Now, if that doesn't happen, because look, we've seen plans like that go. You play as Koa at the 3 some, right?
But here's my problem with playing Koa at the 3. You're either Koa Peat is strictly a power forward. He does not.
I agree.
This is like the thing when they tried to do with Aaron Gordon when Aaron Gordon came here and he had no small forward skills whatsoever. And Sean Miller said, "Okay, I'm going to let you run the ball to half court, and then I'm going to have you pass the ball to the point guard, and then we'll initiate the offense. I don't want any more of that stuff."
I think Koa could play the 3 in Tommy's offense.
Well, yeah, that's good.
I don't think he's a 3, but I think in the offense he could play 3. I'd be more concerned with his defense.
All right, now, but a lot of people asking, did Mount Crevis put on some girth? What say you?
I would have to ask people that know him better than that if he's put on some girth. Hopefully he does. To be able to plug some holes easier.
Yeah, but Mount Crevis, though, we've told people this all off season. I think they saw it. Mount Crevis can shoot threes. He showed that last year in practice as well. People are going to see a different Mount Crevis.
Yeah, I think, and if you watch his video when he was in Europe, he's significantly more talented than people think. I don't know if he felt that he was holding back or what. His game is much more expansive than people know of.
Oh, look at Mr. Tyler Warden. Get your mind out of the gutter, Mr. Tyler Warden. Plugs. I will not even reread that. I am not going to give you the benefit of the doubt on that one. Okay, now, if we've got a couple. Okay, let's see here. If Mount Crevis can step outside and hit shots, is that a win for the Spacers? No, it is not a win for the Spacers. Not at all a win for the Spacers. Here's the deal with the Spacers. The Spacers want to take worse players, significantly worse players like Javier Ramos, and as opposed to Trey Townsend, and say, well, he's going to shoot one or two more threes per game. He is very, very good. Mount Crevis, whether he shoots threes or not, that is not a win for the Spacers.
No, here's why it's not a win for the Spacers. An opposing defense will let Mount Crevis shoot threes all game long.
Yes, it's not a win for the Spacers.
No,
period.
Because go ahead, shoot threes, because that means you're not inside and you're not rebounding. If Crevis wants to shoot 6 threes a game, it's a loss, not a win.
I love how Spacers has become a very how do I put this? It's
Mount Crevis is good, by the way.
What's that?
Mount Crevis.
Mount Crevis is very good. Andy Bryant, a very, very smart man. Andy Bryant, much smarter than me. Okay, now we got to talk about a few things here that really have kind of taken off. Now, just so everybody knows, next Wednesday, Jacob Franklin will be on the show the entire time. But You might say, Mike, why are you bringing up Jacob Franklin? Great question. Jacob Franklin. Now there is I almost lost it today when I opened up Scheer's message board. There was a thread on a Wildcat board that just said Jacob Franklin on it, and it got quite a bit of play. Let's see some of and we're going to play all of them as the week goes on. Hugh Bob says, when are we going to get a full podcast with Jacob Franklin? I've been eagerly awaiting this ever since Jacob brought some heat on back-to-back pods a few months ago. Mike might be a harmless, self-proclaimed dork. Let's see here. But he also bullies the heck out of Jacob, and Jacob deserves an opportunity to return serve for always showing restraint, being a good sport. I need this to happen. Just like Jason told us to post any questions we wanted to ask at Big 12 Media Day last month, we should send in our questions for Jacob. There were questions that were submitted. We will get to those ones there, Hugh Bob. Jacob Franklin. Hello.
I don't think Mike bullies Jacob.
Mike bullies me.
I think you bully Mike.
Yeah, you push me around, Jacob Franklin.
That's just not true.
Don't let Mike hear you in public.
You know how many times Mike talks about me on his show and I just don't put myself on the screen because I just let him have his little thing. And he can say whatever he wants about me not wanting hats, me not wanting double dells.
Right.
I don't know. I think next Wednesday will be good. It'll be therapeutic for my soul.
Another guy put on there, he said on the board, he said, we also need a picture of Mike standing next to Jacob Franklin. No, we do not.
Yes, we absolutely do. We absolutely do.
No.
We do not.
As Mike's agent, we will not be agreeing to that.
Yes. And when Scheer saw Jacob Franklin, the first thing he's like, man, that guy's a monster. It was Scheer's exact.
Who is this monster?
Yeah, no. People don't know until they see the great Jacob Franklin. Now,
I'll make an agreement. Mike and I will consider the pick of you standing if we can get a Totri pick of you standing next to him as well.
Deal.
We could probably convince him to do that.
Now, with Totri, by the way, Totri thought he was taller than me. And nice try, Totri. I am not tall.
I like Totri a lot. Totri's a good dude, but that was funny at media day. I did not know. That was my first time meeting Totri in person, that he's a small guy.
Yeah, him and Mike are two birds of a feather. Or
Mike's bigger. Yeah. Mike's like 2 inches taller than Totri.
Definitely taller than Totri, though. I will not allow that to happen.
Logan, there will be no double dell at the barbecue. It will be that Wednesday show. Mike will be bringing me a double dell to eat on air.
Eating a double dell on air. How big is that? Now we had another one on there. We have another screenshot, Jacob Franklin. We're going to show all of them, though. Let's see this other one about Jacob Franklin as well. Okay. All right. Now, nonetheless, the great Jacob Franklin is an outstanding sport and my favorite Sun Devil who I'd buy a beer for any day. PHNX bringing Arizonans together. And then somebody says, whoa, hey, pull it back up, Jacob Franklin. He said,
yeah, Mike doesn't bully me.
Whoa, I literally just posted this on the great Jacob Franklin regarding the Devils cast today. I hate ASU, but screw Washington and Utah. Jacob Franklin, you have made quite a mark in the Wildcat community. This is true.
I guess apparently I need to come visit Tucson, and I've got a lot of free beers waiting for me.
Oh, you do. You have a lot of beers.
Is it possible that I'm the most liked ASU alum in Tucson right now?
That's a great question.
I think it's a legit. It could be.
I mean, that's pretty high status right there.
No, it is. You're definitely the most.
It's a poll. Poll's coming.
Hey, that's a great poll. Hey, Jacob Franklin, let's get. That's a great poll there, Jacob Franklin. Let's get a poll going. This is a very, very good one, though. The most beloved the ASU person. Jacob Franklin is somebody else. Who is somebody that is?
I mean, the poll could just be who's the most beloved ASU alum in Tucson, Jacob Franklin or the field. Insert comment below.
Is there a more beloved figure in Tucson than Jacob Franklin? Yes or no?
Okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah. Pat Tillman or Jacob Franklin?
Oh no!
No.
Good show. All right.
I'm not. I would throw no.
Good show, everyone.
All right. That will be the poll question. Franklin or the field?
Jacob, make that the clip. Why not? We can end
the show clip today. The most beloved ASU.
I'm not. If you submit that, I'm just not pulling it.
Can you imagine the reaction if you posted that? Who does ASU fans like more, Pat Tillman or Jacob Franklin?
This is a great question.
This is football. It's football.
It's definitely football.
Al Michaels or Jacob Franklin?
Jimmy Kimmel's another one. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel's pretty, but it just depends. There are a lot of people that think Jimmy Kimmel is like kind of a dirtbag.
Yeah. Mike Andrea. Mike Andrea or Jacob Franklin.
All I'm saying is if you're throwing my name around with Al Michaels and Mike Andrea.
No, it's big. It's big. Especially, too, if you were to
Phil Mickelson, John Rahm.
Yeah. Barry Bonds or Jacob Franklin?
Jacob, come on.
Okay, now we got some questions coming in hot and heavy for Jacob. Now, again, this is just a teaser for Wednesday. But Ryan Neal says, Jacob, does Jeff Sims lead the country in turnovers this season?
It just depends on if he gets the starting job or not. And that's still up in the air.
Gilly won't let him.
If Jacob Franklin starts if Jeff Sims starts 6 games for ASU and plays all 6 games, does he lead the nation in turnovers?
Fumbles, maybe. You got to remember there are a lot of D1. There's a lot of D1 colleges, and I promise you, there's going to be a low-level D1 school where there's a quarterback that throws 20 picks.
Power 4 schools, Jacob Franklin. So we can at least include ASU maybe in this.
Sure, that might be an argument that you could make if he plays. Look, Mike knows this. Part of my family's from Nebraska, so I watched a lot of Jeff Sims ball last year, and it was not good.
It was not good. Now, what do you think about the ASU folks trying to turn this into something where they're trying to spin it that he's actually good? What do you say? What do you think about this?
I haven't heard much of that.
Totri put out on Twitter, and he tried to get people going at me. He says, I can verify that Jeff Sims can throw the football. No, you can't, Totri.
He can throw the football.
I could throw a football.
Mike, did you not? There's sarcasm in that tweet.
Aurora can throw a football.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, all right, fine. You can physically throw the football. How about that?
If he put accurate in there, we'd have a better discussion.
Yes.
Cole Tenenbaum can throw a football.
Hey, you never know. A system change might do him some good.
No, we know. We know, Jacob.
Now. Should we talk about Colorado or should we wait till Monday?
We could skip a day. Let's skip a day.
Yeah, let's skip that.
I don't want to talk about Dion.
We're focusing about Jacob Franklin anyways. All right, Jacob Franklin. Now, Jacob Franklin, let's see what your reads are like. What should people do if they want to become a PHNX diehard, Jacob Franklin?
Go to gophnx.com. Sign up today because you get access to Mike Luke. And it's not about me. It's about Mike Luke.
And about Jacob Franklin. And all kinds of different people there. Many, many people there. And discounts. All kinds of good shirts as well. Check it out. And and here's the other thing that we got to talk about really quickly. I am in high-level negotiations to become the producer of the PHNX Mercury show as well.
My firm put that off for at least another 6 months.
Whoa! As Michael's agent, this is unacceptable.
This isn't good. This is not good, Jacob.
It's not my problem. We had an internal discussion, and that's where we landed.
By the way, Antonio A, very good, funny. Jacob with a PHNX dart. If you follow Twitter, you know what that is. Did you ever see this, Jacob Franklin?
No.
Oh, we got you covered. Don't worry.
Can you? I wish we could put maybe. It's the worst editing job that you've ever seen. It's something that's worse than I could even do. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Anyways, so that's why we got Jacob on air. Wednesday is going to be the Jacob Franklin show. Back the J. But on that note, though, the Circle K hat for Jason Scheer, the great Jason Scheer. Where can they find you, Scheer, doing your stuff?
WildcatAuthority.com and the Wildcat Scoop podcast with Shelby.
Oh, by the way, Erica L. Day just messaged me and she says, "Oh my gosh, is this true?" Oh, it's very true. We'll make this happen. Okay, but I am for the great Jacob Franklin, who might be hanging out in SRS at some point. Vacation time, I get it. But for the great Jacob Franklin, Jason Scheer, I am merely Mike Luke. Oh, Erica L. Day just came in here. Thanks for joining us at the end. Sorry, Erica L. Day.
As Mike says, Jacob Franklin, the Pat Tillman of PHNX.
Yes, that poll is going to be a great.
No, I just want it on record. I am not like these guys are doing this to me. I am not putting myself in that position. I am not that type of person.
Well, that's because you're so humble.
Yeah.
That man did a lot of things that I will never even be able to fathom in my lifetime.
All right. Well, anyways, very good show. Go out to a football practice today. I will be out there. Scheer will be out there. Erica L. Day will be out there as well. Jacob Franklin won't be there, but can't help you. Anyways, for the most beloved ASU person in Tucson, Jacob Franklin. For Circle K himself, Jason Scheer. I am Mike Luke with the Inner Circle. We will be back with you on Monday. Bear down, back the A, back the J. You've been listening to the AC Wildcats podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.